Welcome back to the Story Highway, where some stories don't chase us. They wait quietly, hoping we'll return. Tonight's story is about a door that was never locked, a home that never stopped believing, and a truth that arrived years too late. This is the door that was never locked. On the corner of Maple Street, there stood a small white house with a green door that was never locked, not during the day, not at night, not even after the world decided it was no longer safe to trust anyone. The neighbors noticed. They whispered about it. Some thought it was foolish, others thought it was brave. But Grace Whitman, 72 and living alone, never locked that door. She moved slowly, yet her hands never shook when she turned the handle each morning. She would open the door, step onto the porch, and look down the street as if expecting someone who was always just late. Grace was waiting for her son. Ethan Whitman had left home at 19, saying he needed space and air, and that he would come back once he figured things out. Grace had smiled, packed him lunch, and reminded him to take his jacket. He never returned. Years passed, letters stopped, and phone numbers changed. But Grace never moved the key from the hook by the door. Every evening, Grace cooked 2 meals, one for herself and one for the son who never knocked. She placed the extra plate on the table anyway, and sometimes said his name out loud just to keep it alive. Ethan liked his potatoes crispy. She told no one. The town changed. New families moved in, old ones moved away, and Maple Street grew quieter. The house with the unlocked door became a local legend, until one winter night someone finally used it. Ethan stood in the doorway, older, thinner, worn down by years he never talked about, his hair streaked with gray, and his eyes carrying the weight of regret. He hesitated, but the door opened easily. Inside the house smelled the same. Grace sat at the table, knitting. She didn't look surprised. "You're late," she said calmly. Ethan broke. "I didn't know if I was welcome," he whispered. Grace stood slowly, walked to him, and wrapped her arms around her son. "This door," she said softly, "was never locked for you." Grace passed away 3 months later. The house was sold, and the door was locked for the first time. But Ethan left a small sign nailed gently beside it. Some doors stay open, not because they're forgotten, but because someone is still loved. If this story stayed with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep walking with us on the Story Highway. Because sometimes the hardest door to open is the one we were always welcome behind.